Good morning. This is Morten from INKISH TV. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Bernhard from Mondi in Austria. Good morning and welcome, Bernhard.
Good morning, Morten. Thank you for having me.
I'm actually looking forward to this thing because it's kind of funny in many ways. Because if you look at the paper industry that you represent, some of the finer papers even, it is funny because it is probably the most, let's say, costly thing if you look at the entire calculation of a printed project. And still, I sometimes think that the paper industry doesn't get as much coverage in the media as the machine manufacturers. Don't you think it's a bit unfair?
I think the paper industry is a truly exciting industry. And when I joined Mondi 18 years ago, actually, a friend of mine, he asked me, why do you actually join Mondi, a paper company? That is technology from the past. Join a Finnish mobile phone company. Back then, that was the thing of the day. And today, I'm still at Mondi 18 years later, and the Finnish mobile phone company is gone. There are others, of course, now. But I think one strength of the paper industry, it is the backbone of the industry, printing industry, of many other industries. It's a truly sustainable industry, and it's an exciting industry to be in. So I'm very glad to represent that industry.
We are of course going to talk about your new position in a moment, but maybe you can just give an overview. I mean, what is Mondi and what type of company? How big is it? What do you do?
Yeah, so Mondi is a global packaging and paper company, and I'm part of the business unit Uncoated Fine Paper. There are two other business units, one for corrugated solutions and corrugated packaging options, and the other one for flexible packaging. I'm representing Uncoated Fine Paper. That is the paper used in copier papers for professional printing, but also for different solutions like converting papers, for instance, for envelopes, or where paper is the basis for further coating processes, for instance.
Yeah, please.
We are busy as a company in Uncoated Fine Paper. We have actually operations in Austria, 2 mills there, and in Slovakia. And moreover, we operate out of South Africa, which is our traditional home base, where Mondi, the name Mondi, also originally comes from.
Okay, so what does Mondi mean? Does it have a South African meaning?
Mondi is actually a flower which was growing not far away from the first location of the paper mill. And since a flower is also a growing plant, we thought it's maybe a good way to call the company as well.
I think that Mondi has, at least the years that INKISH has been broadcasting our things, I think that we have got to know Mondi as a very serious player, and I think that you have gained a lot of brand recognition because of your papers, and also you have been, many of you, also your competitors, exhibit, but I think that Mondi has tried to position yourself a little bit different. Maybe you can talk about your market position, how you see. I know that you will not talk about competitors, but maybe you could just give an overview of where you see Mondi in the current market space.
So Mondi, I think one thing which is unique about us in the uncoated fine paper market, that when we talk about Europe, we deliver from the commodity products up to highly specialized products, a very wide range of produce with different functionalities for office paper or professional printing or technical applications, various grammage ranges, various colors. So we have a very, very wide offering, which our customers typically appreciate. They get everything out of one hand. And behind that is also a very strong logistics and service network. This is combined with a local representation when it comes to our sales offices. For instance, we are operating in many, many markets locally, and we can combine that actually with a strong central also backbone when it comes, for instance, to questions of sustainability or printing technologies, or also digital and marketing approaches, which we then take in a consolidated, integrated way to the market.
Does that mean, when you say that you have this local representation, that where some paper manufacturers are depending on merchants, you basically represent yourself in most markets, or how should I understand that?
Our biggest customer base is the merchant, but still we have colleagues in many countries locally, and what we see is that Mondi needs to act in a global way. So we, in the past, certain assumptions was we only can act globally also, but it is actually the strength to combine local networks and the global company to go to the market. Every market is different. I've been traveling now quite a lot to various regions in Europe, and one thing for sure I took along was that every market has its special needs, and we are able to service those special needs.
Your friend that thought you were crazy 18 years ago going into the paper industry, does he still believe that you're crazy, or how is that, Bernhard?
No, I think I was able to transfer now also the importance of the paper industry and the contribution to the sustainability aspect especially. And I think 18 years ago we were all younger as well, so in the meantime I think we have been able to learn a lot.
It has, obviously in the pandemic and also post-pandemic been a supply challenge for a lot of printing companies. Having a brand and your own mills, and also being this global kind of approach to things, has that given you any advantages in relation to your PSP customers and packaging customers, or how do you see that?
For sure. So I think one of the strengths we have is our logistics network into Europe, and when it comes to the pandemic and all the crises we have seen over the last few years, unfortunately, being close to the customer, understanding their needs, and able to translate that then back into solutions to help them or support them where possible short term, also a key advantage we have been seeing. And the supply chain effect, which was very heavy, of course, a year or so ago, we tried to mitigate as much as possible. And that was something where we could shine also in respect of our setup.
If you look at the paper industry, I mean, some of your competitors have closed down capacity. I think that it is not a secret that the paper prices in Europe has been under pressure for many years now. Do you think it's overall good for the industry that capacity is taken out, so it becomes more like aligned with the environmental cost and the supply of pulp and all those kind of things, or is it more like a problem for Mondi that you get involved in let's say in an industry where the global parameters are of course influencing your company as well?
I think we are operating in an environment which is globally affected today. All companies need to act in this kind of global environment. What we try to do is really to focus on our strength, and we know that we are a strong European player. Our customers appreciate that we have this leading market position, and that we can utilize also our strength, as I mentioned before, for instance, an aspect of services, digitalization, or marketing, for instance, and that we understand and that we have this understanding also of our customer base locally. And in this regard, I think taking our products in that way to the market and focusing our strength, this is the best thing we can do in today's world.
And you, Bernhard, 18 years with Mondi. Where did you start at Mondi?
So I actually started 18 years ago as a sales manager for North and Latin America. And that was also something which coined me for my career, because these are quite versatile markets, different cultural backgrounds. And what I immediately learned also is that the markets are very different. And I think that differentiation, you need to take products to the market in a different way, depending on the regions. That first impression I gathered back then.
And then you moved up or sideways, or how we see the career plan of Bernhard Cantzler. But and now you got a new job, and what I read that you wrote something on LinkedIn yesterday that you seemed that this is like almost like a dream position for you. But again, you have been in communication for a long time. So what is the biggest difference in your new position? And maybe you can just tell our viewers what your position is.
Yes, so thank you for leading into that. So, from the beginning of August, I have assumed now the role as marketing and sales director in Uncoated Fine Paper, so the business unit of Mondi. I'm responsible for our European business and South African business, taking the paper and pulp products also to the market. Why is that a dream position, as you mentioned, for me? So I've been, of course, working in Mondi through various roles in my past, and as a character or as a person, I'm really enjoying to work in a broad sense, dealing with many different aspects of the business. So I've been responsible for sales, for business development and innovation, taking new products to the markets, for marketing, innovating also our marketing approach, but also working with our mills closely together, and especially always with the customer in mind. And while I've been, of course, dealing with these aspects in a separate way, now in my new role, I have the possibility to join those various fields of interest or functionalities, and in this regard can now shape in a market environment at the moment, which is of course challenging, but still in an industry which has enormous potential, I believe, take and shape that with the company together and with the team, especially behind me.
And I mean, the path within Mondi has given you, as you said, you have been, for example, the North American, Latin America. Now you've been also working in EMEA and things like that. I take that path has given you a lot of understanding, both of how Mondi works, but also how the markets work and what is valuable in your value proposition. Because I take that in a sales and marketing, of course, you will be measured whether you can deliver that growth that everybody is always, wanting. So is that like, is it something that can keep you awake in the nights, or is it something where you believe that, okay, you have a great idea on how to move forward?
Yeah, I think the opportunity in the paper industry and for us is that paper is a sustainable product. And if you look at brand owners, if you look at international publishing companies, if you look at the average user, I think everybody of us has a connection to paper. We know paper, we can feel paper, we can experience paper, and paper is giving a long-lasting impression. And in this regard, we have a unique selling proposition in making that experience possible across the world, for sure, and in a sustainable way, especially, and in a way which is convincingly sustainable. And I think this is also, with Mondi, one of the big strong points, that we as a company, we breathe sustainability. We have been the first company, for instance, making FSC certified papers in the past. And I think taking that experience continuously to the market in innovative ways, digital ways, for instance, not only in traditional ways, with new marketing approaches also, this is an opportunity I'm very much looking forward in implementing together with our team.
So, I mean, one thing I do understand, of course, is that the environmental and sustainability agenda is extremely high, and the paper industry is, I think actually most of the, let's say, globally established brands take this very seriously. So that is, of course, good for consumers and for brand owners, that they can rely on that and those investments, basically. But I was also thinking that there is, I think there's a tendency to have more and more commoditization of goods. And I was just wondering, if you look at Mondi compared to your position in the market and the competitors, I mean, why should people choose Mondi? Is it, I mean, if everybody is doing, let's say, I'm exaggerating now because you know me, I actually love paper. But if you look at paper from an, let's say, outside perspective, it's just like something white, you print on it, right? So, but I was just wondering, what are the main reasons for becoming a customer and being part of your journey?
I think this is exactly the impression of my friend 18 years ago, maybe, that paper is just
maybe
a white
I know
sheet.
Him, who knows, right?
And in this regard, I think that's the beauty I like about paper. It is such, on the outside, such a simple product, but in the inside, such a complex and product. And it can influence so many aspects of the customer journey. So we have talked about the sustainability area. but it also influences very much the productivity of, for instance, printers. If your channel is called INKISH TV, and I'm originally stemming from the high-speed inkjet area in my business development times. And if you think of high-speed inkjet printing, without paper, there wouldn't be any high-speed inkjet printing in high quality, because the paper, together with the ink and the machine, builds a triangle which influences the quality, which influences the productivity, the drying times, and the efficiency of the process at the end. And I think taking this expertise to our customers, that's what they appreciate with us, that we can talk their language together with them, that we are reliable in supplying our goods done on time with an excellent service and very consistent quality as well, so that they can get what they have developed with us on the machine maybe a year ago or still today and in a year's time. And I think that package, together with talking the local languages, understanding the local needs, and delivering it also reliably in sustainability terms, that is something which makes us unique in the market.
I was thinking, and I should have made my preparations better, but I forgot to look into it. Mondi, are you focusing on the paper and the packaging industry only, or you're also making, let's say, energy and I mean, do you have your own forestry? I mean, all those kind of things. Because I mean, if you look at when there was this crisis of paper supply from Finland, for example, right now we spoke about the phones, and you know what I'm referring to now. I was just wondering, because that company was so huge in so many different business areas that sometimes you forget that, okay, maybe the printing industry is just a fraction of the entire business. How big is Mondi when it? I mean, do you have other business areas, or you focus entirely on this crazy industry?
Yeah, our core of the business is paper and packaging. That's very clear. However, we do have, for instance, our forestry in South Africa, so we do grow our own trees. We do also our own pulp, but we try to use our sources also efficiently internally where it makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
And then part of the production process, and that is the beauty also of this industry, with making fibers, you can also produce energy, which we then typically use in our mills, but also sell to the grid where possible. But the nature of our business is the paper and packaging industry, so that is where our heart is.
That's I like that. It's also because sometimes when I have been writing, for example, about the change in for example in exhibition industry, I think that the exhibitors that are still part of the industry, like for example FESPA is a great example because they are membership owned, just as an example, compared to those that are not membership owned. It is more like the relationship that you have with the industry that gives you I don't think anything comes easy and gives you easier access, but I think it gives you a lot of credibility when you basically seed your own investment in the future for the industry that you're basically living off. And I like that about Mondi, and I think it was a great answer, and I think it's important. We are just about to wrap this up, Bernhard. I was just thinking that what will be your legacy from your new position? What will people see? Will people see changes? Will people see anything different in from the outside of Mondi with you as the captain of their sales and marketing in EMEA?
Yeah, I think one strength of the industry is its consistency over time, and for sure, my view is that the industry is evolving, and I want to evolve also our team, our sales, marketing, supply chain approach. I think it is not about revolution. I think it is about consistently adjusting towards market trends, towards environmental conditions, and step by step evolving our industry and our team. That is what I would like to say.
Fantastic. First of all, a very warm thank you for being here on INKISH. Secondly, and it is very, very close after, warm congratulations on your new position. I'm sure that the industry will benefit from your experience and from your effort. So thank you, Bernhard, and all the best.
Thank you, Morten, and I hope to see you soon again. Thank you for having me.
Always.